What's happening, Fragmaniacs? It's your host, Max Forte, to bring you another, as you saw from the title, good, bad, ugly, underrated, and overrated. Today we're going to be tackling the house of Acqua Di Parma. It's been a minute since I've done the last one in this series. I think bottle number 9 was the last one I covered last October or November of last year. But needless to say, I'm so happy to bring another good, bad, and the ugly. A lot of people have approached me on the groups and here on YouTube and asked me to continue with the series. So I'm glad to bring today Acqua Di Parma. We're going to be taking a closer look at all the offerings that I have from this house. We're going to be talking about the background of the company a little bit. Anyway, you guys know exactly how I do this. If you haven't checked any of the older Good, Bad, Ugly series that I've done, go check them now. I've done many of your most sought for designers and a lot of the niche fragrances that we come to love. So stay right there. The house of Acqua Di Parma is coming up right now. So Acqua Di Parma introduced their first fragrance, the Colonia genre, and it was actually called Colonia in 1916, and a lot of Italian man, and even here in America and most of Europe, they used actually the Colonia to perfume their handkerchiefs like I have right here, and then they would wipe their foreheads and whatnot. So it was a very customary, traditional thing that people used to do with 1916 Colonia, which was their first release and the one that started it all. Many celebrities from the 30s and 50s wore 1916 Colonia. It was very popular among Hollywood celebrities. Cary Grant, David Neiman, as well as Audrey Hepburn were some of the older celebrities that actually loved 1916 Colonia. And a lot of celebrities kept loving this fragrance through the years, such as Sharon Stone, Woody Allen, and Kevin Costner in the 90s. These people actually had 1916 as one of their signature scents. Acqua Di Parma currently has over 55 fragrances in their portfolio, and they've worked with many great perfumers, such as Bertrand Duchefort, Jean-Claude Ellena, Françoise de Manchy, Francis Courtejean, and Alberto Morillas, just to name a couple. All right, let's take a close look at the fragrances that I have from this house, and let's cover. I'm going to go a little bit into each one of them. As you can see here, I have 14 offerings from this house, and I'm going to be covering them. I'm going to start with the most popular ones like Colonia, Intensa, Assoluta. I'm going to go into the Blue Mediterranean line, and then we're going to cover the ingredient lines right here. So 14 fragrances to go over. Real quickly, I'll give you a quick snippet on each one of these, and then I'm going to give you guys what I think about each one of them. And then at the end, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the underrated, and the most overrated from this house. All right, so starting with the first one here, this is Colonia, or 1916 Colonia. This is the predecessor, the first one that started it all. And as you saw before from what I told you, the 1916 Colonia is the one that really took the genre of cologne to the next level, making it more robust and longer lasting, otherwise more fleeting, and but still keeping it a sparkly and really refreshing, invigorating Colonia genre. And as you saw, many celebrities had this as their signature scent still to this day. So 1916 Colonia, the first one here, a great one. Definitely check it out. Great for spring and summer, one of my favorites from the lineup. Next one, we're going to be taking a look at the Acqua Di Parma Colonia Intensa. This is the Prestige Edition with the wooden cap. This is a 2007 collaboration among two great perfumers, Alberto Morillas and Françoise de Manchy. So again, they took the Colonia noble genre, making it even more robust and more intense, giving it the wood backdrop, a more intense composition that became even more prestigious, longer lasting, and extremely sophisticated. They gave this citrus aromatic a more musky, leathery undertone. That's what you get with Colonia Intensa. Really amazing one. Definitely my favorite from the lineup. Now, the next one we're going to be talking about is the Assoluta, Colonia Assoluta, or Absolute Cologne. This is released in 2011. Actually gave a lavender barbershop feel to the cologne kind of a genre, which very linear, but also great to wear and very refreshing, invigorating, easy to wear. If you like barbershop feel fragrances, Colonia Assoluta is definitely one to check out. Next one we're going to be talking about is a 2015 release, which I have a full review on. Of course, we're talking about Colonia Club, which to me, it's like a combination between polo green, a much lighter, more fleeting version of polo green, with Acqua Di Gio. Really pleasant, really easy to wear, great for spring and summer. One of the ones that I really reach for, if you look at this bottle, I actually put I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, but a third of the bottle is actually gone. I really like to wear this in a more casual, but you can dress this up and you can dress it down. Very, very nice fragrance. I think even has vetiver in it. Really beautiful. Colonia Club, definitely one to check out if you want something a little different, a little more daring from the Colonia genre. Now, speaking of robust and more intense, we have Acqua di Parma Colonia ESSENZA. It's released a couple years ago. It's a flanker to the original 1916 cologne, which is definitely a more intense version of the cologne genre. It's an infusion of a floral, fruity heart with a vetiver patchouli dry down. This one here is really amazing. It's like, you know, the Colonia with a twist. Really, really nice one. This one here is, I'd say, a more daring Colonia version of the cologne genre. Okay, now we're going to get into the Blue Mediterranean line, which is an amazing, amazing line. Great to wear. You know, I think of spring and summer. These are perfect. We're talking about a phenomenal tropical coast of Italy, the Mediterranean, the Costa Azzurra, you know, the Amalfi Coast in Naples. That's what you're going to get with the Blue Mediterranean. There's going to be very amazing fruity fragrances that are great to wear in the spring and summer months. First one we're going to look at is a 2014 release, Junipero di Sardegna, or Juniper from Sardinia, which is a region in Italy. This one here, think of a fresh, spicy, a little bit spicy, very invigorating juniper fragrance that's very easy to wear. What I like to compare this to, if you like Gucci pour Homme 2, think of a spicier, fruitier version of that fragrance. That's what you're going to get with Junipero di Sardegna. An amazing fragrance. Check it out if you haven't. One of my favorites from the Blue Mediterranean line. Next up, we have a 1999 release. This is ARANCIA di CAPRI, or Orange from Capri. This one here made my top summer niche list last year. Think of the beverage Fanta Orange. This is very fizzy, it's sparkly, it's invigorating, extremely refreshing orange. It's a melange of oranges. It's got mandarins, oranges, I think it has citron. If you like that kind of, you know, if you love oranges, like if you like fragrances sort of, if you like a fragrance from Atelier Cologne, Orange Sanguine, I actually like this one better. So Arancia di Capri, amazing orange. If you're an orange aficionado, check this one out. You're not going to disappoint. A lot of people ask me what my favorite bergamot fragrances are. You know, you have Bergamot 22, but I'm telling you, this one here will give you a run for your money. This is Bergamot di Calabria. Amazing bergamot fragrance, very transparent, very fresh. The citrus here is beautiful. It's a simple fragrance, but it'll do the job. It's extremely refreshing. That's why I got the big bottle. This is one that I love to wear when it's really hot out, fresh out of the shower. Spray, you know, 5-6 sprays of this when I'm hanging out the house or I'm going out casually, just, you know, groceries, whatever. This is a perfect scent. If you love bergamot, this is definitely one to check out. The next one here is actually a 2016 release. This was just released last year, and I put a huge dent on this bottle. This is CEDRO di TAORMINA. It's a cedar-based fragrance. I've worn almost half of the bottle, even actually more than half of this bottle. This one here, I was wearing almost daily in the summertime, all the way until early fall. This is a phenomenal scent. I got the most compliment probably of all the ones I have when it's really hot out. I don't wear this for work. It's just usually hanging out with family, barbecues, very casual setting. You know, CEDRO di TAORMINA is unbelievable. You're gonna love it if you try this. I'm telling you, it's got something about it that's so alluring and so inviting. My wife loves this one. This is a stellar blend of citruses, pepper, vetiver, and lavender. All right, so we talk about spring and summer. Acqua di Parma comes to mind. One of the ones that I love from this brand, and I believe it's probably one of the best fig-based fragrances in the market today. This is none other than Fico di Amalfi. So the Amalfi Coast is in Naples. Or Napoli, and this is a fig-based fragrance made to measure. It's a beautiful, this is as pretty as they come. One, if not, like I said, the best fig-based fragrance in the market today. This fragrance was actually released in 2006, so it's been over 10 years since the release of this fragrance. Again, if you love fig-based fragrances, this is definitely one to check out. Okay, the next one from the Blue Mediterranean line is definitely the darkest of the juice, in a sense of the color of the juice and also of the composition itself. And of course, I'm talking about Mandorlo di Sicilia, or, you know, almonds from Sicily. Now, this is a complex oriental. It's very exquisite. This was released in 1999. And again, this is one of the most complex, I think, from the Blue Mediterranean line. If you like vanilla and almond-based fragrances, you'll love this. You know, think of Dior Hypnotic. Think of Pegasus. this is kind of like the same genre, same family as those fragrances. So if you like the combination of almonds and vanilla, this is definitely one for you. Check it out. This is definitely androgynous. You know, a guy or a gal can pull this off perfectly. Actually, this whole line pretty much is really androgynous, with the exception of, you know, yeah, I pretty much think this whole line is really unisex. You know, anyone can rock anyone can rock these fragrances beautifully. Next one we're going to talk about is a 2008 release. This is MIRTO di PANAREA. MIRTO di PANAREA is going to give you this ozonic, aquatic, you know, sea salt kind of vibe, kind of herbal background to it, and a little bit boozy, and definitely has florals in the heart. It's a really beautiful fragrance, very unique. If you love floral fragrances, with a little bit of a fruitiness to it, but again, it's going to give you like an aquatic, ozonic kind of feel. So this is a little bit different from the Blue Mediterranean line in the sense that it's going to be, probably from the ones I have, the one that's the most floral. So I'm not a huge floral guy. The introduction of this fragrance is stellar, but it takes a turn to a more floral composition, if you will. So this is MIRTO di PANAREA from Blue Mediterranean. Now this is Colonia Intensa or Cologne Concentrate Oud. This is a beautiful oud fragrance. You know, if you love oud fragrances, you have to check this one out. It's extremely wearable. If you don't like medicinal, harsh kind of, you know, opening ouds, this is not going to be it. This is going to be a really beautiful oud that's very upscale and extremely sophisticated. This is one that I like to wear sometimes when I'm doing presentations, when I'm dressed up with dark suits, when it's really cold out. This is definitely one that I go for because even though it has oud in it, it's really not pungent or really, you know, nose-turning kind of oud. This is going to be an oud that's going to give you compliments, which that's why I love. This fragrance was released in 2012. It'll give you almost like a chocolatey, kind of a creamy oud. Again, it's extremely inviting and very pleasant to wear. This is, again, Colonia Intensa Oud, 2012, an Oriental oud release from the house of Acqua Di Parma. Next up we have leather. Now, leather is very compared to Tuscan leather from Tom Ford. Again, there are similarities between the two, but this is a lot easier to wear than Tuscan leather from Tom Ford. This one here, again, a phenomenal leather-based fragrance. You're going to get similarities with Tuscan leather, but again, this one here takes the cake for more wearability. This is more versatile and easier to wear than Tuscan leather. This is an amazing combination of oud, different woods, a fantastic rose here again, and leather. The leather here is beautiful. It's very sophisticated, very elegant leather. Again, dressed up, this one here is one of my go-tos for meetings and presentations in the cold weather. The good from the Acqua Di Parma line, it's definitely going to go to the original Acqua Di Parma Colonia. I love this fragrance. Think of 4711, you know, cologne. Think of Neroli Portofino. This is kind of like what you get with this fragrance, but it does last. I get 8+ hours with this fragrance. I love to wear it in the summertime, straight out of the shower. And the reason why I'm giving this the good is because this is the one that started it all, and it's still present to this day as a great fragrance from this house. So this is a timeless classic. So Colonia for the good. Okay, so the bad, I have to pick a bad one from the 14 I have. So in my opinion, with my taste, and it has to go to Bergamotto di Calabria. As you see, I haven't really worn much of this fragrance. I do enjoy it a lot, but for the bergamot that you get here, which is really nice, there's a lot of fragrances that you're going to get the same kind of vibe, which I wear much more when the weather is hot, such as Bergamot 22, for example, or the Batch Macabre from a different company, or even Bergamot or Bergamotto from a different company is also a great bergamot fragrance. So because of the price point and because I don't wear this too much, you know, for what I get out of this scent, you know, which is a great transparent bergamot fragrance, I have to give this the bad because I have a lot of other bergamot fragrances that I reach for before I reach for this one. That's the only reason, but it's still a great bergamot scent. If you haven't checked it out, give it a shot. You might like it more than the other ones. This is just my personal taste, and I have to pick one. So the bad will go for Bergamotto di Calabria. Okay, now the ugly, if you know my taste, I kind of hinted it at when I was doing, you know, the rundown of all the fragrances. It's gonna go to MIRTO di PANAREA. The reason why it's the ugly, it's because, again, the introduction is amazing. You're gonna get almost this boozy margarita kind of nuance. It is amazing, but after the first 35-40 minutes, it gets into this really floral heart, and it takes a dive for the worst, in my opinion. I really don't enjoy this. Again, it's very floral. As you see, I haven't really worn much of this juice. I wore it a few times. I want to say I wore it maybe 5-6 times. But from what I have, it's definitely the ugly. The only reason why it's the ugly is because it takes a turn to a floral fragrance. You know, the heart of this fragrance is really deep into the floral, which I'm really not a big fan. That's the only reason why it gets the ugly. Okay, so the most underrated from this house is one that I really think that more people should be talking about. A few people do talk about this fragrance, but not as much as I think this deserves praises. This is one of my go-to office scents, work scents. I get a lot of compliments with this fragrance. This embellishes any sophisticated attire. If you want to smell ultra sophisticated, elegant, and very manly, this is Prestige Edition Colonia Intense. I think it's the most underrated from this house. I wish I heard more about this fragrance in the fragrance community. Again, I'm not sure why, but go check it out. If you go to a store that carries this line, definitely spray a few sprays of this, 3 to 4. You're gonna see the magic. It's an amazing fragrance, one that again garners a lot of compliments, probably from everything I own. Is my favorite from the line, and to me, the most underrated, Colonia Intense. All right, so closing out with the most overrated. Now, the Acqua Di Parma line is not a line that really gets overrated or hyped in the fragrance community, so it was really hard to pick one, but I remember a time when this particular one was actually featured in a lot of top fragrances in the fall and winter. So it was really hyped at one point, but not anymore. You don't hear much about this fragrance. And somebody, one of the reviewers actually used to be one of my favorite reviewers, Hiro Miguel Yarazuka, used to actually hype the heck out of this fragrance. And this is Mandorla di Sicilia, again released in '99. This is a vanilla almond bomb. This fragrance, like I told you, if you like Dior Hypnotic, if you like Pegasus from Parfums de Marly, this is going to be right up your alley. I suggest you give it a shot. So then there were 14. So there you have it. That's my take, the good, the bad, the ugly, the underrated, and the overrated in the house of Acqua Di Parma. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, comment down below. Let me know if you own anything from Acqua Di Parma. Let me know what your favorite fragrances from this house is. Do you love it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? All comments are welcome. Please drop them down below. Let's start a little conversation here. I'd love to read them and get back to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, do whatever you got to do. Let's talk fragrances, let's talk Acqua Di Parma again. It's a great fragrance house that it's easy to wear, easy to please. There's nothing here that's going to be really offensive or hard to wear. But yeah, again, drop your comments down below. Let me know what your favorite top 3 or top 5 are from this house. I'm curious to read your comments. Stay tuned for a lot more content coming your way. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means a lot to me. In the meantime, you guys, share the passion. Keep on spraying and stay fragrant. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.